Merry Wednesday to everyone out there. Should I say happy hump day? Uh, this is John McEntyre Show live, prime time. I'm John McEntyre. This is a show dedicated to your financial health and wellness. Today is Wednesday, hump day, no, November, September 28th, 2024. And we got some stuff to cover here after the wallet wins, mainly preparing for natural disasters. And the reason why is because down in the Gulf of Mexico, we have Hurricane, just been named Hurricane Helene. And even though she is still in the Gulf of Mexico, she is already wreaking havoc on the mainland, even up here into the Carolinas, Virginia, Tennessee. And so I wanted to do a program that just a reminder of some things to do to prepare for those storms. But before we get into it, let's go into the wallet wins. And wallet win number one, we finally set up a workable budget. I'm paid bi-weekly, and so it took some I think that's finagling to actually get on track. I don't have a lot of wiggle room, but I'm headed in the right direction. So that is a wallet win, and that is something. Some people they have a little issue in the beginning getting their budget on track, because some people, if they're self-employed, that's irregular income. Um, Especially if they're in like sales, things like that, work for themselves. Some people they're paid bi-weekly, so they have to, and maybe the way the bills are paid, they're not like even with each check, and so they have to really work with that. And you to speak to that, sometimes you could just call, or most companies today they allow you to set your payment date, and so that's a pretty easy one there. You just go in or make the phone call and say, "Hey, I need to pay this. The way that I'm paid now, this." They'll accommodate you, and they're fine with it. And so, and then some people are paid monthly, and so that really is, you really have to stay on top of your budget, because you're only receiving one paycheck. And especially, I've seen the issue happen when someone is went from switch jobs or something like that. And they went from being paid weekly or twice, or bi-weekly, to once monthly, and they kind of, run out of money before the month. And so that was the one where they really have to stay on top of themselves to get it to work. And so as I hold this sneeze back, I'll read wallet win number two. Wallet win number two, I increased my credit score 90 points this year. And that's a big jump. That's a serious increase, credit score. You should be excited. That is a wallet win, um, because most people, well, I'm about to average what, about 70 points, something like that in a year is like a good is like a good increase. So to do it 90, yeah, that is a serious wallet win. Wallet win number three, our daughter graduated from college debt free with a full time job, and dig this, full benefits. So yeah, I'm happy for them. Oh, I'm about to get choked up myself. See, that is a huge wallet win. I mean, graduated college debt free, full time job with benefits, and this is not a bad economy. I don't want to say that, but most of the time with the college kids, they sometimes I think they're just not being the most ambitious, and sometimes they're just wanting to take breaks, and so they will use that. It's just so hard. The job market's so hard. It's so tough out there, and companies are hiring like crazy, um, and the parents having a soft spot for the child. They don't want to push too hard, because they're like, okay, well, you did finish college on time, things like that. Okay, you can take a break. Just don't let it turn into a long break to where they're no longer tenants in your home. They're back residents again in your home. So you have to get on top of that. So that is a big time wallet win there. So we have three excellent wallet wins. And don't forget to share your wallet wins. If you do have one, no wallet win is too small. We're here to celebrate everyone because every small step in the right direction is better than a big step in the wrong direction. So just remember that. You can also share your questions if you have questions or if you have comments. Put them in the comment section there, and we'll get to it. We'll make sure and answer the question or share the wallet win or the comment. All right. So earlier I was saying um, Hurricane Helene is actually category one hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, and it's scheduled to, when it makes landfall, it will be a category four. Well, it is a pretty large storm anyway, and so it's already. I mean, like last night, yesterday, right after the show here, I mean, we were like just went off air, and one of the loudest cracks of thunder, and I mean, and then it rained and rained and rained, and so we was like, okay, we're already feeling the effects, and this thing was still what uh, about 90 miles off the coast of Florida. And so we were already getting the rain. And today it hasn't been as bad. It's just been an overcast, sprinkles here and there and all over. But it's still off the coast of Florida. And it's wreaking and it's doing a lot of damage already. I mean, we're in North Carolina, western part of the state. They've been seeing bad weather all day. As you get closer to Virginia, where Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina meets, um, seeing tornadoes, sightings, and warnings and things like that. In this area, in our area, Charlotte metro area, three school systems, they've already called off school for Friday. They will be doing e-learning, and that's one of the positives of COVID. They mastered the system of virtual learning, and so now the kids aren't out of school; they are just virtual. So they're doing that. They've already made the announcement. Some of the schools, and I'm quite sure tomorrow they will make even more announcements, as it is supposed to make landfall, and then we'll really be in the thick of it. Tennessee, that really feeling the effects, and United States from West Coast to East Coast, all across the country, we've been seeing natural disasters like one after another, and so this show is just a reminder because when something like this is announced, um, first thing is, oh, we've seen it before. Like most people say, well, we've seen it before. We'll ride it out. We'll hunker down and everything like that. And then it ends up being worse than they thought, and they weren't prepared. So I lean to the side of just being prepared. Just get prepared, and if it's not so bad, good. But if it is bad, I'm prepared for it. And so, especially financially. But before we get into the financial part, just remember some of the things that everyone's saying you should prepare. Um, and plus, shoppers are already, they're storming the stores. they, they've stormed the gates at the stores, so it would not hurt to get, it's not snowing, so you don't need bread and milk. Um, and why they get bread and milk when it snows, I don't know. But the shelves the shelves are getting, it's getting, what they say in the country, it's beginning to be slim pickings in some areas. And so it would be a good idea to go ahead and make the grocery run, things like that, just in case it hits. In our area, we have a ton of trees, lots of trees, and the trees fall, especially the pine trees. You look at them long enough, they'll fall. You can stare a pine tree down. Well, it though that's mainly the reason for power outages. The falling trees and the wind also. The wind blows the trees, things like that. A lot of rural areas, the phone posts, the hose power lines, things like that. They're not as sturdy, and so they will fall or lean too much and cause power outages and things like that. And so that's why it would be good to get to the store, get the battery powered radios, and make sure everything is charged up for phone usage, so you can be able to access weather apps, things like that. But mainly the batteries and battery powered, as many battery powered electronics as you can possibly get. Um, the portable power banks for your phones. I'm luckily I'm in a household where someone has like 1,000 of those uh, phone power banks, those chargers, and so we constantly have a ton of those around here, and um, I'm grateful for it because the last time we had a power outage, we each had a couple of you know little chargers for our phone, so that was a good thing, and that's huge. The portable chargers, gas powered generators. There's some people they do have those. Power goes out, uh, you hear them starting up, and coming from real estate, make sure you put those outside. Well ventilated areas. They don't do very well in garages, things like that, because they do throw off carbon monoxide, and we know how dangerous that can be. So the carbon monoxide thing, um, get the stuff out of the yard because I know it causes a bunch of problems, but they are funny videos seeing trampolines and chairs and stuff flying over houses and things like this. It's like that's funny, but then the other part of me is like somebody's sick because it made some damage. It caused damage all over the place, things like that. So make sure you get the lawn chairs, all of that stuff, the kids play toys and all of that out of the yards. Those nice patio furniture, um, your grills are still out there, all of that good stuff. Make sure to get that out of the yard so we don't see it flying all over the place, and we don't want you to be one of those uh, videos that the Weather Channel runs constantly when those things are happening, because they're always looking for those, and I look for them myself. So you want to take care of that. That's the stuff to really think about, because and especially trees. Like we're in the area where, like I said, there's a lot of trees that fall because of some of the early drought. Some of the trees that did not, last. They didn't make it. They're still standing, but they're damaged. And those are the ones, I mean, we're having 100 year old oaks falling over, and when they decide to fall and the ground is soft or whatever, and that root system pulls up. I've seen some major home damage, houses damaged, extensively because of that. Because these root systems, they run and they go towards water, and they wrap around plumbing, things like that. And when they decide to fall, I've seen houses almost pulled off of their foundations. Well, not up. The foundation was actually damaged because it wasn't a slab. It was a crawl space, and so the entire house was sort of shifted, or it cracked the foundation and things like that. And on historic houses and larger houses, that is serious expenses. So that is something to definitely think about. If the tree is not looking healthy, um, it would be good to take some measures to handle that and all of this good stuff. So that's something that we really want to watch. So those are the practical things that around the house, inside of the house. Food. Make sure you have food. Water. Make sure you have plenty of water, drinking water, and also water for other purposes. Now, on the financial side, we need to make sure that our documents are taken care of, um, that they are all in one place. Your insurance papers, everything that's important, all the documents. Make sure that they're in something waterproof, and that can't be easily destroyed. Fireproof, waterproof, all of that. There are some good safes. Century makes some good affordable safes. Those little small, from that size, the little small ones look like the little briefcase thing, up to the larger ones. And one of my brothers, he has one. We have documents in there, and it's like a gun safe, and probably the building would blow over and the safe would still be standing. Because he has it bolted to the to the floor and everything in cement. So that's the practical side of it. But even then, just have something that's destructive proof, waterproof, and have those documents. The All of your insurance policies, they need to be in there. Passports, anything important. Um, don't want to sound morbid or whatever, but it would not hurt to have wills and power of attorneys inside of there. Something happened, an injury happens. um, then they'll know who to contact. Um, and if, God forbid, that doesn't happen, prayerfully, that does not happen. But just on the side of flooding, like now on the coast of North Carolina, well, pretty much the coast, period, they're getting ready to take this to Congress to where houses will have to be moved further because more and more houses are falling into the beach because of beach erosion. And it's nothing new. I remember studying that in my real estate course back in the late '90s. He was talking about that. It happens, and some people, for some odd reason, don't believe that it would happen to them. And that last hurricane that happened about almost 2 months ago. What was it? Ernest or Debbie? Debbie. That's right, Debbie. Um, you seeing these houses just collapsing into the ocean. The waves would come up and set up and everything, and these houses are just falling over. And I mean, these are expensive houses, these huge houses, just falling over. And I'm like, man. And then to actually hear the people say, well, I didn't do the insurance because the insurance was so expensive and things like that. Oh yeah, that hurts. That hurts. That seriously hurts. And so we need to have those documents. And in our area, there's only a few floodplains, so a majority of the houses don't have flood insurance. And then as you move up into the foothills, the mountains, a few a higher percentage of houses have flood insurance, but even then some people bypass it because they think, I'm up on the side of a mountain, I'm higher up, higher elevation, flooding won't happen, not thinking that these rivers and too much rain above them, the trees have been cleared out, the water just can flood now. It would rush down like a flood, where it used to be with trees, it would find the path of least resistance, which was usually like little streams and things. Now, all of the root system, it's all gone from the trees, and the water, it's like a flood now. It's like a waterfall, and so some serious damage has happened. And so you want to make sure and have that in there. Check your policies to make sure if something did happen, you have the your deductibles, all of this stuff, who to contact, things like that. Because if something does happen, you want to make that call as quickly as possible, because everyone's going to try to call. And so it's the first come, first serve. That's usually the way it works. And so those are some things to just think about as we prepare for this hurricane. We're receiving storms here in western foothills of North Carolina, Piedmont, up to the mountains, mainly the mountains, and we haven't seen the worst yet. So it's supposed to start tomorrow, and then Friday is supposed to be the big day for it. So that's why I wanted to do the show today, to make sure everyone's prepared, whoever's watching, to be prepared for it. So that being said, our question of the day is, how prepared are you for a natural disaster? Are you prepared, or how prepared are you? So I share some tips. These are things to think about. Um, Insurance wise, go to the website of your insurance company and make sure you have those numbers on hand, and the process, understanding the process of, because each one of them, they have their way of operating, and you also want to know how that's going to go down. So that being said, I hope I gave some good information, some things to remind you or to get you prepared for Hurricane Helene or any natural disaster. Just in case you're not in the path of Helene, you're probably in the path of something eventually. And so it is a good idea to just be prepared for it. And if that is the case, uh, like the video, subscribe to the channel, uh, like us on Facebook, YouTube, share it with others. Tell your friends, family. Let the pets know. Oh yeah, speaking of pets, don't forget your pets. Pets are huge. They're part of the family. So you want to make sure that your pets are well taken care of. Sometimes they can't travel or they can't go to shelters, so you have to find a place for them. And there's a lot of places now, kennels and everything, that will take them in just in case of a natural disaster. So that's also something good. Pet is a family member today. So that being said, I will see you tomorrow, same time, same channels. Have a good evening.